Welcome to Tater Time with Big Al and the Tater. Your host, Mr. Caleb Strickland.
All right, welcome to week 8 of Tater Time. So glad to have you this week. AJ is 17-3 on his high school picks. AJ, who you got? Prattville at JD.
This game is on Thursday night. I got JD.
All right, Wetumpka at Opelika.
I got We Too.
All right, Stanhope versus Dothan.
Got Stanhope.
Homer. All right, so time to talk teams. Tickle and Tater's top 10. Who you got this week?
All right, guys. Well, at 10 this week, this is going to be a real surprise to a lot of folks because they're not ranked this low right now. But I feel like their loss to Syracuse in the Carrier Dome should have more of an impact, especially the fact MTSU beat Syracuse earlier this year in the Carrier Dome. So I got Clemson at 10. Then I got the Cowboys from Oklahoma State at 9. Number 8, I have the Ohio State Buckeyes. And then 7, I got OU for beating Ohio State earlier in the shoe. Then I have the U at 6, who I'm not very sold on just yet. And then
It's a blessing there in the top 10.
Yeah, blessing.
And then at 5, I have the Wisconsin Badgers, another team that we really don't know much about because they haven't played a whole lot. TCU, I have at 4. Georgia, you could say they're 2, but I feel like they're at 3. Penn State's at 2, and Alabama's at 1.
All right, time to go to a video question from our youngest viewer.
Hey Tater, who are your top 4 Heisman candidates right now?
All right, Dylan. Well, thanks for the question. My 4 players to watch in the Heisman race right now, I have Bryce Love from Stanford, who's really showing some talent on the ground, averaging 10 yards a carry, and he's got over 1,300 yards rushing. Also have Saquon Barkley, who's doing it out of the backfield, also in the receiving game and the return game. So I got Saquon Barkley, and then I have the 2 Oklahoma quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield and Mason Rudolph.
So no love for Kerryon Johnson at Auburn?
I think we know why he's not in
Well,
there.
I mean, maybe we'll give him some honorable mention, him and like Nick Chubb, Damian Harris, but I mean, he did score like 5 or 6 touchdowns against Missouri. I mean, and had like 40 yards in that game, but I mean, come on.
In like 4 games.
All right, let's move on to our weekly picks. Starting off with LSU at Ole Miss. Ed Orgeron heads back to his old stomping grounds in Oxford for the Magnolia Bowl. How do you guys think he fares against his old team?
Well, I would say with Orgeron, you never know, but and Ole Miss is getting a little excited because they scored 57 points last week, but let's pump the brakes. LSU has a lot more athletes than Ole Miss, and I think LSU wins this game 34-23.
I can honestly say I didn't see Ole Miss playing last week. Maybe they just spontaneously got better out of nowhere, but they're not a good football team. I'm going LSU in this one, but I will fill you in on a little tip. The word on the street is that last week at halftime, Ed Orgeron fired himself and made himself the interim head coach, and then led that comeback versus Auburn. Because everybody knows interim Coach O is better than the regular Coach O.
All right, moving on to Oklahoma State versus Texas. Texas has been on the verge of a couple of big upsets. And so far, the Cowboys still haven't lost to that team that they shouldn't. Is this a week that both of those things happen?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. Texas has been on the verge at least twice of some big upsets. You know, Tom Herman's got them going in the right direction. You know, it seems like they're a couple players away. Sam Ehlinger at quarterback is building confidence week in, week out. You can tell that kid is going to be a gamer. Look for him down the road as a Heisman candidate for sure. I like the way Texas comes in and has a dual threat quarterback, which seems to give Oklahoma State problems. So I'm going Texas in this one.
All right. Well, I'm not really surprised picking Texas because, like I said, I picked Texas last week and they just couldn't come through against Oklahoma. Fell a little short. I feel like this is going to be another week, though. I think they're just going to come up a little bit too short. Mason Rudolph is really got guns blazing right now with the Cowboys, and I feel like it continues. They win 45-35 in Austin.
All right, moving on to USC versus Notre Dame. We got a video question.
So, AJ, I've been watching Tater Time. Got a question for you. If the Fighting Irish, Notre Dame, can win out the rest of the season, beat Miami, USC, Stanford, North Carolina State, do they make the playoffs? Yes or no? Go Irish.
All right, Michael, good question. And to answer your question, yeah, if Notre Dame were to run the table, there's no doubt in my mind that they would be in the playoff. But it's not going to happen. And USC is going to stop that before it begins. So don't get your hopes up. USC is going to beat Notre Dame 33-28 this weekend.
I actually really like what Notre Dame has done as far as their gameplay and been more of a ball control type offense, run the ball more, play hard defense. On the other side of the ball with USC and Sam Darnold, the guy's just been a turnover machine this year. Yeah, last week there were no picks, but 3 fumbles. I mean, he's got to hold on to the ball. I'm taking Notre Dame, but of course, since I said that about Darnold, he will, put it all together and go completely nuts and crush Notre Dame. But I'm going Notre Dame in this one.
All right, apparently the Gus bus has been put back in the shop. So Auburn versus Arkansas this week. How do they respond to a downtrodden Arkansas?
First off, to stick with the automotive theme, it seems like they'll all be dressing up as Troy Trojan backfired a little bit, gave LSU a little motivation, over on the sideline. But in this game, on the other side of the ball with Arkansas, there's really nothing to talk about. This team is blah. There's nothing interesting about them, nothing exciting about them. They're just lame, and I don't think Auburn's going to have a problem with them.
Yeah, there's a lot of anger in Auburn right now, and a lot of that's aimed at Gus Malzahn and his play calling. And I don't blame Auburn fans because, you're up 20-0 in Baton Rouge, and then all of a sudden it's like they forgot they could throw the football, and LSU just shut them down second half with the help of just running the ball basically into a brick wall the rest of the game. So I do feel, though, Auburn will have no trouble beating the hapless Hogs, like Kyle said, and Auburn wins 41-17 this weekend.
All right, Bama versus Tennessee. Let's just make it simple. Is this even going to be competitive?
I can answer that real quick. No, it's not. Tennessee's just got so many problems right now, and it starts with Bush Jones. I guess he thought he could fix this by switching out quarterbacks. That didn't help at all. You scored 3 field goals against South Carolina. They haven't scored a touchdown in 10 quarters. And now you're about to come into Tuscaloosa and play the Tide. It's not looking good for Tennessee. Butch might as well start packing his bags now. I feel like Bama wins 45-10.
Haven't scored in 10 quarters?
Yeah, well, according to Butch, though, they've done everything right but score touchdowns. So keep that in mind.
Everything right but score touchdowns.
Obviously, I'm going to go with Bama on this one, but I think another topic or another issue needs to be brought up, and that's the point that I think we need to be asking, is Bush Jones intentionally losing these games to tank Tennessee? It's that bad. It really is, and that's a coaching no-no, but he's also getting in front of the camera saying erratic, crazy things, goes out on the field, and then does the opposite of what is giving them success. I don't. If I'm a Tennessee fan, I'm losing my mind right now, and I'm not a Tennessee fan by any stretch. I'm actually kind of liking it, but this guy's a disgrace at this point. I'm sorry.
All right, Michigan at Penn State. James Franklin hasn't beaten Michigan in his 3 years of Stage College. Is this the year?
This game, with James Franklin having to struggle against Michigan, and Harbaugh not having lost to them yet, yeah, that gives you that aspect that, Penn State's going to just lose this game. It's a very losable game, but I think Penn State's very good on both sides of the ball, whereas Michigan, they can't score. They don't have a good offensive line. They don't have a good quarterback, and those two things right there alone just put you behind the 8 ball. They found a little glimmer of hope last week in the running game. I would say they're probably going to lean on that very heavily, but look for Penn State to probably be able to shut it down. This is the type of game that Harbaugh will, find some way to keep it close, but I'm going Penn State in this one.
Yeah, to be fair with Franklin, yes, he's lost every year he's played Michigan so far. I think a little bit of that has to do with the fact his O-line wasn't very good when he got here. and he had Christian Hackenberg, who was garbage. And I feel like he has more weapons on this team, and I feel like that helps Penn State. Indiana almost pulled an upset against Michigan last week, and they don't really have any dynamic players on offense. Penn State does, and I feel like Penn State is still remembering last year getting drubbed in Ann Arbor. Penn State has a mission to make it to the playoff this year, and I feel like Penn State wins 41-20.
All right, time for your favorite segment of the week.
Haters.
All right, guys. So as you can hear from the cricket sound, we didn't have any haters this week because we must be doing a great job.
Perfection.
So
Hey, okay. See you later.
All right, make sure to join us next week for Tater Time. And just make sure you let us know what you think in the comments section. If you got a video question, feel free to send it in to us. We'd love to hear from you. See you guys next week.